But we would like Nigerians worldwide to join in on the show today. Of course, the phone lines are open. We'd like to get your response to what was a, what do I say, unflattering display by the Super Eagles of Nigeria. The phone lines are open, 070-5572-7272. Please call in, tell us where you're calling from and what you think of Nigeria's performance today. Is there anyone to blame? And can we safely say that we're still on track to qualify for the FIFA World Cup, or is it over? That's really what we'd like to hear from you. But in case you're wondering what we're talking about, what Nigeria's chances for qualifying for the qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup took a massive hit today after a 1-1 draw against Zimbabwe in their Group C qualifier on Tuesday. Victor Osimhen's 73rd minute header from Olaino's cross gave the Super Eagles the lead, but Tawanda Chirewa, 21-year-old midfielder, struck in stoppage time to deny the Eagles their victory, despite dominating possession at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. Nigeria missed key chances to actually take the lead and even extend their lead. Wilfred Ndidi failed to convert a clear opportunity, while Zimbabwe nearly equalized early on when Walter Musona hit the crossbar. Well, the result leaves Nigeria third in Group C, missing a chance to move up after Lesotho's late equalizer against Rwanda. The Super Eagles must now regroup for the next round of qualifiers, which are coming up in September 2025, later this year. We're expecting two gentlemen to join us later on in the show. Yes, I have it on good authority that Emeka Enyadike has joined us all the way from Johannesburg in South Africa. Emeka Enyadike is the co-founder of Digital Sports Africa. Emeka, thank you so much for coming through tonight on Game On. So you are right smack in South Africa, behind enemy lines, as it were. But let's start with your impression of the Super Eagles game today. Were you, obviously, were you not impressed? But you were not impressed, but I'd really like to hear your thoughts regarding what went wrong for the Super Eagles today.
Our approach to this game wasn't very. But first of all, thanks for having me, and good evening to Toyin, and also to the viewers out there. First of all, I just have to say that our approach to the game was very, very, very wrong. I know that a lot has been said about Eric Chell and his strategy to play a very attacking game. So my worry, for the most part, is we started the game with 4 attacking players and practically two midfielders, and if you're already playing 2 wide men, because Ademola Lookman is more or less a wide man who likes to come in, and then of course you have Moses Simon. Why do we have to play Chukwueze? We probably should have 3 midfielders, because you need to keep what you have. And then we got to a point in the game where we were struggling to find a goal, and then we got a goal very late in the game, and rather than do something that we did very well in Rwanda, which was try and keep control of the game, manage the goal that we have, we suddenly went all out looking for a second goal, which was unnecessary. At this point in time, what we needed was to win the games, even if it's by half a goal. Just get the 3 points on the clock. When we get to a more comfortable position, then we can think about our attacking fantasy. The reason we got to the finals of AFCON was how solid we were defensively. And I think that we need to get back to that point where we know that we have the quality up front. To some extent, between Osimhen and Ademola Lookman, we've seen that they score goals. The rest of the attacking cast, Mentulu Arakundare, who came in, had 2 opportunities. For his height, he didn't take them. This is a guy who's new. Sometimes you want to take chances with new players, but I think that in this game, we needed to go with the tried and tested. And so I'll cut the coach some slack because he's new and he hasn't spent a lot of time with the guys. But we need to have a more balanced team and have a scenario where we're now in a position where we could have gotten 6 points from these 2 games and be in a better position. Forget about all the talk about South Africa being docked points. That's
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I mean, the fact
I'm just saying that what I wasn't impressed with was our approach to the game. We should have been a lot more tactical in our approach. And
some said a bit more clinical, a bit more aggressive, a bit more positive. I mean, Tony Bicho watched this match alongside me, and he complained tremendously about the Super Eagles' approach to the game, that it wasn't exactly what he expected from a team that was on a mission, a team that had a goal, a team that knew what needed to be done, and that was his own analysis.
I'll say something that I have said over the years with this couple of players we have in this team right now. We do not have. Yes, they seem to be playing for big clubs and so on. I don't think that we are calling the best of the Nigerian players that we have. We have been playing. These are the same players who failed to qualify for the World Cup last time. We've been playing with them for a while, and there is something just fundamentally wrong with the overall balance of the team. We need to dig deep in terms of we have between now and September, October. We can still qualify, but we need to find a few more players who will bring some bit more stability. And I'm talking about defensively and in midfield. We don't have enough creativity in that team. We don't have some bit of solidity at the back. The equalizing goal that they came with, I mean, Second is not getting any younger. And you find that, that was a moment where I think the fullbacks, both of them seem to be a bit tired. There should have been some reinforcement, both in midfield and in defense. And I thought, rather than take out the Wobie, we should have brought on, two. I mean, another midfielder, so that we have a bit more control in that midfield. And once Osimhen was out, the Zimbabweans were no longer afraid, defensive. They were willing to go out and get an equalizer, and they had two clear chances, which showed that we should have shored up our defense.
I totally agree. But Tony, you were saying earlier on about how this is probably the worst World Cup qualifying campaign in recent memory for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They have not won a single home game in 3 tries. That's one for the record books.
And we have just one win in 6 games. That's not World Cup stuff. That's it's not even playoff stuff. So maybe the table is absolutely right with where we are because that's an abysmal record. And it's let me use in quotes. It's criminal to imagine some of the results. I mean, look at the table.
That's the table right there, Tony. South Africa, 13 points clear. 13 points, 6 points clear of Nigeria.
5 points clear of second place Benin.
Rwanda.
And 6 points clear of Nigeria.
Wow.
That's almost done and dusted, So it's unimaginable. It is not acceptable that we've played 6 games and we have just 1 win and we've not won at home.
Sorry to cut you short, Toyi. I mean, you've talked about this. You mentioned it earlier on. And just to add to what Emeka said earlier on, what exactly did Nigeria do wrong today? I know you've mentioned it to me privately, but where do you think that we got it wrong? Because it was there for the taking. Yes, we struggled. We eventually got the breakthrough, but the fact that we could not keep a lead and get the 3 points that mattered is what is breaking the hearts of Nigerians all across the world.
There's a popular saying that the morning shows the day. I mean, what the day would look like, you begin to sense from daybreak, Immediately the game started, I was worried about our urgency, our quickness, our lack of organization, being out of shape. And then, because it was the beginning of the game, the Zimbabweans didn't know what was going to come at them, and so they were very defensive, and we were pinning them down to their own half. And then we were creating chances creating a chance after the other, and we were not taking them. And, I've been with this team for a long time. I've been with the Super Eagles for almost 6 years as the media officer, and I know that football can be very cruel. I know that football can be very funny. You can start a game, create all your chances. If you don't take the chances, you are strengthening the opponents because they are coming into the game, they're beginning to grow in confidence, they're beginning to realize that, look, these guys are just puffing.
It might just be our day.
They are just puffing, and there's nothing in the team. They are just puffing. They are not going to get to the end of it. They're not going to get anything out of it. And you know what? They were very strategic Because once they counter, they come out in numbers. And remember, in the first half, there was one pass that split our defense open, Kama Billiard, and
Should have opened the
scoring. And it was Stanley Wabali that, came out one-on-one and saved that opportunity before Bassi came and did the clearing. And then they had this other chance in the second half. Once they, countered, they came out in numbers and we were caught napping. And it was evident that there was no balance. Just as Emeka said, we didn't have a good balance because when they attacked, they created the chances. And so you would have thought that, look, okay, I have 3 points in the bag already. It's 90 plus. Let me save. Let me keep what I have. Because they kept coming.
So if I get you correctly, you are faulting the tactics of Eric Schell in closing out the game, or you are faulting his substitution, or you are faulting both?
Even when it was 1-1, Tunde, towards the end of that game, when it was 1-1, they had a quick break. It took a last-ditch clearance from Osai Samuel to save it, So we didn't close down the game. Emeka said it. In the game in Kigali on Friday, we saw commitment, we saw hunger, we saw the kind of changes that the coach did. He brought Alassane right back, which was not his usual position. But what did we do? We held on to the ball.
So where did all this, well, gentlemen, I'm just a bit confounded where all this good work went in this second game. I'm just as confounded as you, but let's
remember what we said on Friday?
Yeah.
We said all the good job we've done in Kigali
could be
undone by, losing at home. And so now the Kigali game and this one, we are back even in a worse situation because the team is already 6 points clear. 4 games to go.
Unfortunately. We're still hoping we can get Hope Chizuzu, who is the publishing editor of The Page from Harare, Zimbabwe. He was on this show last night and he was warning Nigeria that this is not cut and dried. He had his compatriot, 2 of them last night. They were saying that, look, Zimbabwe are going to stun Nigeria in Uyo. They warned us, but apparently we did not take that warning to heart. But the phone lines are still open, 070-5572-7272. Please call in, tell us where you're calling from, what you think of the Super Eagles' performance today, where did we go wrong, and do you still believe that we can qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup? But to bring you up to speed with the matches that were played today in a Group C, Nigeria's group, let's quickly show you those results of games that were played today. We've already showed you how the group standings are. Nigeria played out a 1-1 draw with Zimbabwe. Benin Republic lost 2-0 to South Africa in Abidjan. Lyle Foster and Jaden Adams with 2 second-half goals for the Bafana. Rwanda were held to a 1-1 draw at home by Lesotho. In other results across Africa today, Angola went down 1-2 at home to Cape Verde in a Lusophone derby, while Uganda edged Guinea by a lone goal. Now, there are other matches currently going on across Africa right now. Let's give you the live scores of those particular matches. I don't think that's particularly correct, but we'll bring you those games. Well, we can tell you that Algeria, Botswana are facing Somalia, Burundi are facing Seychelles, Cameroon are tackling Libya, Egypt and Sierra Leone, and Sudan versus South Sudan. That's the battle of the Sudans. That's also coming up as we currently speak as well. And also, let's also tell you, we'll also tell you that there are other matches that will be played tonight as well. Algeria versus Mozambique. That's a great game to look forward to. Comoros versus Chad. There's also Mauritania versus the DR Congo. And of course, Mauritania, I beg your pardon, Comoros versus Chad, Mauritania versus DR Congo, Senegal versus Togo, and Morocco versus Tanzania. Those games are kicking off much later. But if you're interested in those live scores right now, we can tell you that Botswana and Somalia is currently goalless. Burundi are thrashing Seychelles 5-0. Cameroon are doing the business over Libya. It's 3-0 in favor of the Indomitable Lions. They just scored right now. And Egypt are also leading Sierra Leone by a lone goal, while the Battle of the Sudans is currently goalless as well. Now, back to you, Emeka. I actually went on a limb and said if Nigeria did not win today's game, we are out of the running for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. In your opinion, is this a valid postulation to make?
You look at the kind of team that we have and just how unpredictable they are in terms of what you don't know whether they're going to turn up for games or not. However, I believe that we can still qualify. We have between now and September to put our house in order to get certain players into that position. There's far too much going on behind the scene in terms of the selection of players. I am not convinced that we are calling the best players. I think that we have enough quality to get the team into proper shape. Ola Aina should be playing right back. He's one of our attacking threats. You see the goal that we scored. He could provide that more from the right. Osimhen and another, they didn't get enough service.
Sorry, I'm so sorry to cut you short, but we actually have Clement calling in from Lagos. Clement, thank you for calling tonight on Game On. Your thoughts on the Super Eagles' performance today, and do you still believe that we can qualify? Hello, Clement. Can you hear me? Good evening. Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes,
can you hear me?
we can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead. Do you still? What was your impression of the Super Eagles' performance today, and do you think that the team can still qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup?
Yeah. For me,
TV.
the problem is that the players are the problem. The coach has done his best. So we do not expect. Okay? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I need you to turn off the volume of your TV.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I said the coach has done his best. So what is remaining now is left for the players. Is it okay now?
Yes, but do you still think that this team can qualify for the World Cup?
It depends because according to what I heard from the news, they said if South Africans, if the FIFA has to deduct, maybe by God's grace, nobody knows. Everything depends on God. But as an individual, we need to put an effort because every other teams are looking for the same position we are fighting for. So my point is that Umar Valley should get up. He's overconfident. Should get up. The defensive errors. Akon did the same thing that almost happened in Cote d'Ivoire. So we don't like this. They're almost killing us with anxiety. They should put their best. They should not underestimate any team. No team is common now in the world. Umar Valley is so overconfident. He should drop down his pride.
Okay.
He was the cause of that goal because he should have come out playing.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much for calling, Clement. It's an absolute, we're grateful to have you on the show. But, Emeka, you were saying something, but before you continue with your thoughts, do you agree with our caller, Clement, who believes that that goal scored by the Zimbabweans was an error on part of goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali?
No, I think you should give the player credit, the striker credit. He saw his opportunity. There was some hesitation on the part of Ekong that he took his chance, and he scored a good goal. There's nothing, you cannot blame it on the keeper or whatever. You just have to give the Zimbabweans credit. They took it, and the striker produced a moment that he needs credit for. Don't make it look like he wasn't. I mean, you look at him controlling the way he controlled the ball, and he didn't give Wabali a chance. He didn't shoot. He shot Wabali would probably save it. It was just
the quality of the goal cannot be denied.
Yeah.
Be denied. Okay, sorry to cut you short again. We have another caller, Omolayo from Calabar. Thank you so much for joining the show tonight. What did you think of the Super Eagles' performance? And also, do you still believe that we can qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think Tony has given us the clue about this match. I think, are not hungry enough. Our players are not hungry enough. Even when the match was started, I was watching it, I could see the difference of Nigeria in Rwanda and difference of Nigeria in New York. I didn't know whether Iwobi has done himself to another midfielder or creative midfielder. Even in Rwanda, it was lost out. Today it was lost out. For God's sake, the football is as than Nigeria, Zimbabwe. Even Zimbabwe, they even respect us at the beginning. If they are taking their chance, by now I'm very sure we'll be out of this game. You understand? When we immediately I saw the way they are playing at first half, I even told my colleague that I didn't see us going through this because we are not hungry enough. The fire is not in us. The player just thought that they are doing Nigeria a favor for them to go to World Cup when they are selling themselves. To give us the clue of all what they did in this match, it's just a shambles for Nigeria. It's not a good result at all in a group that we're supposed to even qualify easily.
Do you still believe we can qualify?
We went. You know, just like the last caller said, everything depends on. In Nigeria, we always find ourselves in a situation where we're always doing mathematics permutation and always praying to God for God to make us seem to lose, instead of us to do our own work from beginning. Like the last caller, the issue is even, I didn't see our problem as a coach. I see our problem as a player. In this team, even they themselves, they are hungry for it. You could see how Osimhen was hungry for ball. Those are what we need. We could see before now. All other Super Eagles, we see the way they are. Even Rashidi Yakini, Olise, all of them, when they are playing World Cup, we see what they do.
Okay. Omala, thank you so much for calling us. Thank you so much for calling us all the way from Calabar. It's really great to have your thoughts on the show as well. Gentlemen, I'm sure you can already see that Nigerians are particularly pained, really disappointed with what happened today. It was not the result they wanted, not the result that they expected. Unfortunately, it might have put paid to the Super Eagles' ambitions of qualifying for the FIFA World Cup. But there is still the small matter of an ineligible player that the South Africans featured in match day 5. We'll be talking about all that and the possibility it presents for Nigeria still getting in through the World Cup, through the back door, or after the break, and much more. In Game On here on News Central, I still have the two fine gentlemen with me. Toyin Ibito is here with me in Lagos, while we're joined by the one and only and very erudite Emeka Enyadike, all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa. Gentlemen, we'll still talk about the matches that went down in Group C of the African qualifying series of the 2026 FIFA World Cup today. But before these matches were played earlier today, some news, interesting news broke that South Africa, the Bafana could lose crucial World Cup qualifying points after an eligibility controversy. Midfielder Teboho Mokoena, who plays for Mamelodi Sundowns, reportedly played against Lesotho despite accumulating 2 yellow cards in previous matches. Now, FIFA rules state clearly that players receiving 2 cautions across different matches are automatically suspended from subsequent games. Now, Mokoena was the player in the starting lineup in their recent 2-0 victory over Lesotho. That was yesterday, last week.
On Friday.
But, Friday. But potential consequences for Bafana are significant. Now, if a formal protest is successful, South Africa could lose 3 points, potentially dropping from first to a lower position in Group C. I don't see how that's going to happen, because if they dock 3 points from their current 13, they will still be top, but they would have 10 points. Some will say within striking distance of Nigeria. But Toyin, this is interesting. Some are saying that it was Nigerians that went looking with a microscope and found this inconsistency, while others said that no, this was simply a case of being flagged by the FIFA system. So which one is it?
No. Nigeria is not. That doesn't have anything to do with this. This is a FIFA competition, and these rules are automated on the FIFA system, because I was media officer of the Super Eagles when we ran foul of this rule in 2018, during the 2018 World Cup qualifiers. We had Chirewa Abdullah pick up a yellow card in the preliminary round against Swaziland, away in Swaziland, you know. And then he picked up a second yellow against Zambia during the final group phase, the second to the last penultimate game in the group that eventually saw us qualifying for the World Cup. And then he now featured in our dead rubber game against Algeria, where he was flagged. And immediately after that game, when the match report, because this is a FIFA competition, when the match report got to FIFA, they sent a mail immediately.
So wasn't it was Algeria that protested?
Algeria didn't need any protest because they were already out of the World Cup, so nobody protested. It was FIFA that raised it, you know, raised it that, look, you were not supposed to have used this player. It was ineligible. And so you are going to be losing the points. And then a few weeks after, they announced that the 3 points and three goals will go to Algeria. Algeria didn't need to protest. They were already down and out. You know, nobody protested. It was FIFA that raised it on their own. So that's how it works. And we saw the World Cup qualifiers for the 2014 World Cup, if you remember. There were so many issues of teams breaking those rules.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
points were just being deducted. You don't need to. Some of the teams that they were playing against didn't even know which player was on a caution or not to be able to be monitoring to, you know, raise, file an appeal. FIFA system is automated. It sends you that, look, this player is not eligible to play. And once the match report gets to them and that player is featured, automatically you will lose those points.
But also say that this system is actually a bit faulty. Why doesn't it just, after every game, and tell you that, look, these are your players on yellow cards, do not field them for this second game? Why should
ideally you get a marking. You know, you get a marking. If you don't pay very close attention to it, you may not, you know, you may fall foul of it. You get a marking that allows you to see that, look, this player is on 2 cautions, you know, so may not be available, should not be available for you in the next game. 2 cautions and all of that. So you need to be very, very careful, you know, look through your files very well, so that you don't run foul of that FIFA rule.
Well, Tony, sorry to cut you short. We have another caller, Clifford from Delta State. Clifford, thank you so much for calling tonight on Game On. Your thoughts on the Super Eagles' performance today, and can they still qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup? We seem to have lost Clifford. Yeah, Emeka, I have to come to you. Now, with what Tony has said, there is a strong possibility that the Bafana of South Africa could be docked 3 points and 3 goals. If that happens, which seems almost inevitable, and considering the fact that Nigeria did not take advantage of their game against Zimbabwe today, what does this mean for the games going forward, especially that crucial game against between Nigeria and South Africa in Johannesburg in September?
If the 3 points are taken off South Africa, it brings them down to 10 points, and then it means that, you know, we have to beat them, but we have to first beat Rwanda when we host them in Nigeria. It's all hypothetical, just like we were all calculating these points from today's game. I think we need to focus on our games. Think of how we can get 6 points from the next round of games, and if any teams drop points, and of course, you know, inevitably FIFA will deduct these points from South Africa because they fielded a player who was on 2 yellow cards. I think that, you know, that could give us an opportunity, even if it means that we are one of the teams that gets into the playoffs, because the way it is right now, South Africa has got a very, very really old coach, Hugo Broos, who is a very, very good coach. He's smart. He can smell. He's got experience. He won AFCON with Cameroon, before that with Belgium, and all his previous records. You know that they have a top quality coach, and he's got these boys really, really. He's done something that most South African coaches haven't done. This is the first time we're seeing a Bafana team that's not built around Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates. There's a lot more Sundowns players in his team, but of course there are good players from just about any team that you can find.
Yeah. And Emeka, I'm really sorry I have to cut you short again. We have another caller all the way from Abuja, John from Abuja. Thank you so much for coming through tonight. Your thoughts on the Super Eagles' performance, and also, can this team still qualify? John?
Yes. All I want to say is it's not just only about qualification. Let's also think about the technical ability of this new coach that we have. You guys in the studio, if you could judge from those 2 games that we just played, do you think this new coach have the technical abilities to see these guys through? I sincerely doubt it. Even if we qualify to that World Cup, I do not think this guy had the ability to see these guys through. We have the players, but we just need that touch from the coach. You can see the Zimbabwean coach. You see what he did. He doesn't have players as good as the Super Eagles, but you can see the difference from what he knows how to do. He was able to manage the little he has to get the result. So let's look at that angle. We need a better coach. Let's not deceive ourselves.
Interesting.
Thank you. I wish the Super Eagles all the best.
I will definitely need it with the way we've been playing so far. Sorry, Emeka, you were saying something about Hugo Bruce, which is interesting because John also mentioned that he's not particularly comfortable with the tactical news of Nigeria's coach Eric Schell. It's just 2 games. Is it too early for us to start drawing conclusions on his ability, or was it just a bad day in the office?
No, I don't think we can start talking about it. We for these qualifiers, we shouldn't be surprised where we are because we've had so many coaches, and I think it's administratively we put ourselves in this kind of situation because our decision making in terms of first of all we had Chirewa who took us to the AFCON final. We didn't try to renew his contract, and then he left. And immediately we made a decision on appointing Ndidi, who I don't know if he got the right kind of how would I put it, right kind of framework to actually do that job. And then we have Eric Schell, who I think hasn't done badly. The team came very close to getting maximum 6 points. He spent very little time with them, and I think that he's got something there. He just needs to tweak, and I'm sure he will make the corrections based on what has happened there. I think talking about another coach again would be very Nigerian because we're the only country that has gone to the World Cup with only one coach. Maybe Keshi and West Ham are the only coaches that qualified us and took us to the World Cup. We've always had this silly attitude of always changing our coaches before, and the end result is that the only coaches that have done well for Nigeria and taking us past the group stage are the 2 coaches who were there through the qualifiers and took the team through to the World Cup. So, our situation right now is not very good. As I was saying about South Africa, they've had a coach that is not afraid to pick players even from the local league, and I think Eric Schell should do that. We have a lot of good midfielders in the league that perhaps he could look into, but he needs to find some other players because every time I look at the selection that we have for this team, I get worried because I look at the team and I find that if you take out the very first team, there isn't enough quality that you can call off the bench. Even with all of what Boniface and the rest of them are winning, all those guys are doing in Europe, even Tolu Arokudare that came in here, he might walk, into the team at some point. But I don't think we're picking the best of our players. Eric Dessers, what's his name?
Cyril Dessers with Rangers.
Yeah, Cyril Dessers. Why was he not picked? Because he's scoring goals. Form should determine who gets called up to this team. There's far too many players that are
that you think should be making this team
on the basis of their name, or certain interests. We need to call the players who are on form. If you look at what the England coach has done, Tuchel, you'll find that he's looking at. He called Jordan Henderson, who's playing well for Ajax. He called up Bond. He called up certain players who are doing well in the league, and sometimes not even the players who are playing for the biggest clubs. That's the problem with Nigeria. We are calling up players
based on their names.
And, some of these players have friends in the media and amongst the influencer community who just hype them. I'm worried. I'm worried about the
team composition,
quality of the.
Okay. I get what you're saying. I think it's very clear. But Toya, I need to throw that to you as well. He's made a very, very interesting submission that the best players are not being called up for the Super Eagles. Now, before this game, Eric Schell released a 39-man list. We thought that this was a proper representation of the best players in Nigeria as of now. But there are those who are even arguing the likes of Chidera Ejuke, who plays with Sevilla, who is regarded as the 4th best dribbler in the Spanish La Liga, a player who might be useful in breaking down low blocks or ultra-defensive teams that we face today, was not even on that list. Is this a fair argument to make that the best players are not being called up? And while you're answering that, Tony, what about those who are also saying that this Super Eagles team is too reliant on a Victor Osimhen? That it seems if there's no Osimhen, there is simply no way for this team to score.
Yeah, that's a good point. And obviously, Osimhen has confirmed it with his performances in the two games, scoring the 2 goals in Kigali and scoring the goal that gave us the lead today. So without any doubt, Osimhen is the life wire of this team. If he plays, we win. If he doesn't play well, we may not win. But, you know, another issue that I wanted to address, that Emeka also alluded to, is the balance in our team. And, you know, I was telling a few persons during the game against Rwanda that there's need for us to balance our squad properly, defensively and offensively. The coach likes to play on the front foot, likes to be offensive, but he has...
Is that a bad thing too? We argue that attack is the best form of defense,
It is not a bad thing, but it is bad when your team is not balanced. It is bad when it backfires. When you are going forward to score goals, and then you end up conceding a goal the way we did. And it is not just today. That's the hallmark of the Eric Shell team. You saw at the last AFCON.
Where were they giving him a pitch-side bath?
Cote d'Ivoire were a man down, and the Malians were on the ascendancy, and they kept pushing and pushing, trying to get one more goal. They were already 1-0 up, 72nd minute goal against the host Cote d'Ivoire, and they were dominant, and they were looking like they would tear the Ivorians apart, and they were naive. Considered a goal, took the game into the other time, and then considered the second goal, and it was all over. So that bit of naivety in conceding late goals is what we've seen again today. Look at the way we considered before it became 1-1. The Zimbabweans had a chance that they hit the bar, you know, and then we thought, oh, we had escaped, and then they got the equalizer. And immediately after they got that equalizer, there was another chance to even score the winner that Samuel Osayi had to make a last-ditch tackle to save.
So, Tony, are you putting this result squarely on the shoulders of Eric Shell?
When something happens repeatedly, you know, if it happens once, it's a mistake or happenstance. But if it happens repeatedly and it's a recurring decimal, then it means it's your weak point. It means it's something that you need to work on.
You need to be a bit more pragmatic.
You have to be more, I mean, that's it, you know. So you have to be a bit more practical, you know, in your approach. As Emeka said, all we needed, you know, is the result today, not the performance. We wanted the result. For me, I was looking at these two windows, the result and not the performance. And then we saw a good result and a good performance against Rwanda, and today, both the result and the performance wasn't up to scratch. So those, for me, are the little issues that we need to, you know, address properly. Emeka said something about not calling our best players. You know, a good team is a competitive team, a team where nobody is absolutely sure that they will get a chance to play if they don't measure up. And you will begin to sense what your team will look like on match day from your training sessions, you know. So we have to try to make the Eagles very competitive. That's what we need to do. Get a lot more players, young players, hungry, wanting to make a name for themselves. Let's bring them in, domestic league, foreign leagues, wherever they are, bring them in and make this team competitive. That's what we need to do.
All I can hear across Nigeria and beyond is Kasongo, yeah. Kasongo. But we have a caller on the line now, Clifford from Delta State. Clifford, thank you so much for joining the show tonight. What's on your mind? Do you think the Super Eagles acquitted themselves well today, and do you believe that they can still qualify for the FIFA World Cup? Okay, so I need you to turn off the volume on your TV set. It's very clear that your TV is on.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Go ahead. We're almost out of time.
I've turned it off.
Okay, go ahead, Clifford.
Thank you for having me. For me, I see that it is you people that are even spoiling these players. If you compare the after winning that first game, doing players that the latest is just as if we won the ticket in the World Cup. Instead of coming back to say, good play, but our next game, please, we should be very conscious of what we are going to do. But no, look at what happened today. That goal that came from our defender, right at the center stage, instead of moving the ball forward, he looked back and was trying to break it. Defending just a goal.
So this team, this group of teams have serious problems. As for the World Cup, it is dash now. We are not going anywhere, sir. Please.
Wow.
We are going nowhere.
Wow.
No miracle. We are always depending on God to take us to the promised land. Why? Other people have, they don't have God. They have God. So please, this team, we should stop pampering our players this time. Let's wait for the last game before we start pampering them.
Okay.
That's my tip.
Thank you very much for calling, Clifford. All I can hear once again is Kasongo. Kasongo. A lot of people are saying, "Brother, that this Super Eagles team."
What does it mean?
It means Kasongo. It means Kasongo and brother. But thank you so much for joining us tonight, Emeka Yadike and Toyin Ibitoye. Final thoughts from you very quickly. The 5 months that's remaining between this last game and the September qualifiers, what should the NFF be doing now? Very quickly, Emeka, in probably 30 seconds, you can wrap it up.
I think that, we just need to get our act together. We need to support the team. We need to get the right players and support the coach. That's the only thing we can do. I don't think that we should give up. I think 4 games, 12 points, and then we'll see what happens at the end of the day.
Amen to that. Toyi, also 30 seconds. How do you think
take advantage of every opportunity we have. The FIFA window in June. Get everybody together and start to plan and strengthen the weak areas of our team and ensure we have a balance. That's what we need to do.
Wider, call up a few more players. You gentlemen think that's good?
We have a FIFA window. It's in June. It's the Club World Cup.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay. So no opportunities for friendly games.
Not at all.
I thought they were planning a friendly game against.
Who are we going to play against?
I thought we were playing a friendly game against, was it Ghana or somewhere?
I read that somewhere too as well. But
end of season. Well, let's see how it goes.
It's not looking pretty. But thank you so much again, Toyin Ibitoye, for coming through tonight. Also to Emeka Yadike, who joined us all the way from Johannesburg. And to all our callers from all across the country, Abuja, Delta State, Calabar, Lagos. Thank you all for calling in tonight on Game On. It's an absolute pleasure to listen to your thoughts regarding the Super Eagles' performance today against Zimbabwe. And hopefully they can still pull the chestnut out of the fire with the remaining 4 matches.